J. Uso is now in your city. It's just me, oh. Okay. Day one, it's just me, oh. Day one, it's just me, oh. Okay. Day one, it's a lot of more love, but not damn like this. I did. Hey, it's on me now, Oos. Hey, I'ma get them all. I'ma get them all, Oos. Yeah. I'ma get them. I'ma get him. I'ma get him. Yeah. Yeah. It's on me now, Woo. It's on me. Hey, main event Jay Uso is now in your city. Uso. It's just me, oh. Okay. Day one, it's just me, oh. Day one, it's just me, oh. Okay. Day one, it's a lot of more love for knock them down like this. I did. Hey, yeah. It's go time now, Woos. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey, let's get it, Oos. Hey, I'm about to get him, Oos. I'm about to get them all. Let's go. Oos. It's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's a lot of more love for knock them down like this. It's just me. Okay. Day one, it's just me.
Good evening, everyone. Off the Ropes, episode 38. We're going to talk about Mr. McMahon's show, episode 5, and then the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. And I'm glad you guys can hear me this time. Y'all get to enjoy. Come on, Big Oos. You got to get going here. What's the deal?
I was working. I was doing my other job. Sorry.
Okay. One of those other things you got to do. I get it.
You should have just seen what I did. Go to your phone on a notification.
I got it.
Did you do something on my phone?
I did. I sent you a notification from another app.
Bret probably doesn't. Bret probably isn't.
Oh, he probably doesn't even have the app.
There's only one app that I know about. That's that NetSN app. That's it. No, I can't.
So we support you, but you don't support us. Okay.
I don't have the other app, Kyle. I mean, I don't. I'm sorry. I go check your stuff out online, but I don't
have all the apps.
I don't have the app.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle.
There's an app. I probably have it. I probably got like 7,000.
I probably should, but I don't.
On your phone where you have to swipe over like the page of apps.
Yeah.
And like mine goes like 700 pages.
Oh,
jeez, Louise.
And I have them in folders.
Oh,
jeez, Louise.
Man. Well,
too many apps, Brandon.
Here in East
I
Texas,
probably use like 10 of them.
Here in East Texas, there's some weather coming in. It's kind of throwing all of us a loop for schedule. So we got a lot of extra.
Hot take. It won't even rain on Friday.
Yeah.
I think it's going to rain, but I think it's going to be after I think the strong stuff's going to be it's showing it's going to hit like 10:30, maybe 11. So I'm thinking we get the game.
So what you're saying is when I'm packing up, trying to carry my stuff down the bleachers, then it's going to start raining. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Storming. I mean, lightning popping everywhere. So you're going to want to get out of the bleachers quickly.
Houston, though, man, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's an overabundance of caution, but I also don't hate it.
It seems like
you can move the game and do it.
And I think it's more too because it's week 11, and you got to get these games in because the playoffs are next week. So you don't want to get pushed back to Saturday or even Monday. You'd rather push it up and get it in.
I guess so.
A lot of these games are getting moved to tomorrow for playoff spots.
Well, I like what Beckville did. Just move it up an hour. Like they looked at the radar and said, "Oh, okay, it ain't gonna hit till 10:30, 11. Let's just move it up an hour. We'll still play on Friday."
Well, they're the same situation where they're fighting around volleyball because that's what when I talked to Lynn the other day that they wanted to move to Thursday but they couldn't because Henderson's got volleyball tomorrow. So
yeah, I was gonna say Lindale doesn't have volleyball anymore. They got knocked out.
Hey, we don't need to talk about it. All right, we don't. My football team's gonna clinch a playoff spot on Friday. We don't need to talk about the volleyball team.
Well, I'm sorry, Kyle. I couldn't help it. I did see that. There was a big story on the Tyler paper about that, man.
Oh, so you saw that?
I did see that. Yeah.
Okay.
He has the internet with no apps.
Remember? I have the internet. It came on my Facebook, man.
I get he's got the internet.
I get the red zone stuff that pop through on my Facebook. That's where I get all my information. So I'll work on getting the app. I'll work on getting it. I'm usually my head's underwater trying to make sure our app's working properly. So, it's my excuse, I guess.
How are you going to stay up to date with all the local East Texans excelling at the college level? If not there's only one app that does that.
Yeah, I let the professionals do that. I
not
guess.
The only.
Brandon.
We don't really put it on the app, but we have. But
some
of them I see because of you. Or I said more earlier because of you.
We need
some of them I see because of you. So
I feel like
a lot of the D3 ones because of you.
I feel a new show coming on. We got Brandon versus KO, like in a battle back and forth, and I'll just moderate in the middle.
We're team. We're cohorts.
Can they coexist?
Yeah.
We can.
Will they turn on each other and could be it could be for a good storyline.
It could be a good storyline.
Oh man.
We're cohorts.
Well,
That's right.
We're not a tag team. We're not a tag team, but if he's getting jumped in the ring, I'll send someone to come help.
No.
Wait, you won't come out? You'll send somebody?
Well, I wouldn't be much help. I mean, do you see me here?
That's great. That's great stuff.
I'll send Omos.
Man, let's talk some wrestling. Brandon, can you give episode 5? I know episode 6 was the one we kind of got the end of everything. Give us a synopsis. I know you have some notes on episode 5.
That's one I gotta remember. I think that might have been one of my least favorites. So let's see.
So it was forgettable. Okay. All right. Well,
no, it looks like I put a lot of notes. We actually learned some good stuff, or learned not good stuff. We learned some stuff on this one. This is where we kind of learned some stuff I didn't really like. 5 and 6, I feel like are the ones where we kind of started learning things I didn't know about. The abuse. That's where Vince started talking about the abuse he suffered from a stepfather and his mother. Not just regular abuse, but sexual abuse and stuff. So not to excuse anything he did, but a lot of times those things can be traced back, and those are things I didn't know. I mean, some people may have, but I learned some things there. Then this is one where they really focused on the family aspect, and they talked a lot about Shane and Stephanie. I didn't know Shane started out as a referee. I learned that. I thought they talked about that in this one. Because Vince started as an announcer, and then also Shane, he started as he was a ring announcer. He didn't do he wasn't on play-by-play or color like Vince, but he was a ring announcer and a ref. And then the Steph, I didn't realize they introduced her so early. Like, I didn't realize how young she was. I remember her on TV, but I was like, she was like fresh out of college. She was like early 20s, and I remember her character, but I didn't realize, hey, she's that young. And and they talked about, hey, they didn't want her. Shane didn't want her dating a wrestler, and all of a sudden,
that was her storyline.
Yeah, they did some with storylines, and then they did a real one.
Yeah.
And she's married to Triple H now for years, but Shane didn't like it at first. But yeah, they really focused on the Shane and Stephanie were a big focal point of this episode, and then they went into some more stuff that Vince was sued for, and some of his sexual harassment stuff and his sexual exploitations of Sable and Trish, and how he really treated the divas in that era. They really focused on that in this episode. This is also when they talked about the name change. We grew up, it was WWF. Well, now we know it is WWE, and they talked about kind of, which, like, even as a kid I knew, hey, it was, my dad had like a little sticker on his lunchbox for the the World Wildlife Foundation or whatever, the little panda bear. And so, I always thought that was weird. There was two WWFs, but then I remember it changing, and then I didn't know. I knew they got sued, but they talked about that in this episode.
I'm surprised they were able to buy out of that, Brandon.
Yeah,
and just buy the WWF thing out. I'm surprised just the way that Vince handled business, that wasn't something that he just bought out.
Yeah, I agree. And then the one of the things they ended are kind of toward the end of this episode is Shane tried to get Vince to. This was before Dana White bought the UFC, but Shane, his idea was to buy the UFC, and Vince, it's kind of like his dad told him, said, "Well, you want buy it with your own money, like I'm not doing this." And I think it's a dumb idea. Well, you see how big the UFC's come now, because at the time it did seem like a dumb idea because the UFC hadn't got to where it is now, and Dana White, kind of like Vince did with WWF, WWE, he bought it and took it, and we see how huge it is now. And now they're in the same company, so it's kind of a full circle thing when you think back about it.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of good information in this one. It was informative.
Well, also, I wrote this was the longest episode, and this is also the first episode where we started seeing Cena and Booker T interviews, different people get interviewed.
I learned a lot in this episode. I think what stood out to me was the fact that Vince's childhood, like we talked about in episode 1, where his dad really wasn't around. Well, then come to find out he was still getting abused, growing up and as a child. And again, like Brandon said, we're not making an excuse for it, but you can kind of see the pattern of how that type of childhood leads to a lot of the decision making he had as he was older. I believe this is also the episode where it was the weird situation with Trish and Linda McMahon was in the wheelchair. She was supposed to be comatose or whatever, and Vince is having an on-screen affair. That's just disgusting. And then for her, and I mean, who am I to judge? Maybe Linda was okay with it, that allegedly, but I think she didn't. She had no other choice. What was she gonna say? What was she gonna do? And then I believe this is also the episode where we find out about a storyline that Vince wanted to have a storyline where he impregnated his daughter, and they had to tell him no. This is stuff that he actually legit thought would make a good storyline on TV, his own daughter. And I also felt like Shane is kind of the black sheep of the whole family. It kind of seems like he got the crappy end of the deal every single time, and he busted his tail, killed himself in that ring just to make his dad proud. And it's sad. It's sad. It was a sad episode to me to see just kind of the whole dynamic of the family and how Vince thought. And we talked about this in episode 1. He had an opportunity to break the cycle, to stop this. He didn't have to treat Shane the same way his dad treated him. He had an opportunity to change that and to be different, and he decided to go the same route.
Well, at least Shane broke off, and now he's kind of broken off. And I feel like at least it was probably Shane didn't like it at the time, but it was probably a good thing that he distanced himself away from all this. And so,
I mean, it was sad. It was sad to me to kind of see all that. But yeah, you see, that's really what stood out to me in that episode, just the family dynamic and the storyline. And he wanted Stephanie and Triple H to have their marriage on a pay-per-view. He wanted to still profit off his own. He couldn't just have a family moment. Anything that happened in his family, he had to make it into a storyline or making the money. He couldn't separate the two. And it was overall, now that I'm talking about it, it was just a sad episode. It was just sad to kind of see because he was very successful. Obviously he created such a huge entertainment company. He was successful, but he's such a crappy human. It just sucks, somebody that does something so good and gives so much joy to so many people with the entertainment product he created. And he is just a horrible human being. it's sad. It's just sad to see.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any better in episode 6. It kind of continues it, and then you get where it's McMahon no longer does any more interviews, and that's when he gets, all the I guess the latest batch of charges, and where everything hit the fan basically. I thought it was, I don't know if it was in this one or the next one. I'm trying to remember. It may have been the next one. I thought it was interesting the way TKO kind of, I guess, pulled a Vince on Vince. Like they bought his company, they put him on the board, but then he doesn't own it. So then they're able to get, then when the charges come, it's not his company anymore. They can get rid of him. And I thought that was, I guess, a little taste of his own medicine, I think. He got this, he sold his shares and, has all kinds of money and whatever, but I thought it was an interesting twist there that the last thing that happened to him in wrestling was he kind of got what was coming to him. Not what he deserved, because obviously with all the things he's done, it's a lot worse than that, but he lost the one thing that he coveted the most, and that was his company.
Yeah, it almost seems too little too late, though. Like, I mean, he's 80-something years old now.
I know,
it's he deserves to be in jail. I mean, he should be in jail for the stuff, the crimes that he's committed. Prison, excuse me, not jail. He should be in prison for the crimes that he's committed, but he's always been able to buy himself out of it. And he's always been able to just throw money at it and it goes away. So, yes, TKO pulled a Vince on Vince. They said, okay, yeah, sure, come on back, but you don't have any control. Like, you can, and there's nothing for him to do. Like, he is irrelevant in WWE TKO right now. He is irrelevant, and that's a beautiful sight to see. Like, things are getting better with the company now that he is gone.
Except for this pay-per-view, as we kind of troll over to pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like the digs of this episode.
I'm not a fan of this pay-per-view. I had high hopes for it, but man, I
might be the most optimistic one.
It was missable for me. If I'd have been like had something to do and couldn't watch it and just found out what happened, I'd have been like, oh good, I didn't waste my time. Some of the booking didn't make sense to me at all. And then when it opened with the Bloodline match, I was like, well, we're not getting any good returns because they're not gonna do that the first match. I mean, we did get Sammy in there, but I mean, that was not a surprise. I mean, we kind of all figured that was going to happen eventually. But this match was fine. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't like that they pinned Roman already. I know we're trying to make Solo look strong, but like it's a little early for that. I feel like he just comes back and he's already getting pinned by Solo, which is, I thought they may save that for, put over Jacob Fatu at some point, but now we've already just let him get pinned by Solo. And it really wasn't, I mean, there was some interference, but it wasn't like he didn't get hit by 18 chairs and then get pinned. It was pretty clean for a Bloodline match as far as the pin. Like it wasn't, there was some interference and Kyle, the referee, got taken out. Wow, that was surprising, right?
I told you.
We didn't see that one
it's
coming.
A lock-in bet.
I mean, it was good to see Roman in the ring, obviously, but I didn't really like this match. I did think they made it interesting with when, they started beating up Jay and Sammy comes out to help really Jay, and then he ends up kicking Roman. So now we've got a little bit of a, drama. Will they get along? Will they not? I mean, we know it's, running up to Survivor Series here in a few weeks, but I mean, this match was it was fine. Like it was not bad. I just didn't really, it wasn't I was expecting more, I guess, from this match.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I didn't really like certain things they did in this either. I saw, I think on Friday, I saw they were opening with this. I was like, that kind of disappointed me because we thought this would be the main event. And so that when I saw that, I was like, okay, kind of takes away. And then, I didn't get to watch till Sunday because had a bunch going on Saturday, and so I watched it Sunday. And the Crown Jewel's one where I'm not normally very excited for anyway. But then we talked about it last week and was like, okay, man, there's 7 matches. They all look good. There's stories that can come out of it. So we like kind of hyped ourselves up for it. And then they kind of delivered like they always they delivered a similar Crown Jewel they always deliver. So we should have just known. And yeah, I was shocked because it looked like Roman, he kicked out like twice right before, and I was like, okay, yeah, because there's no way they're gonna have solo pin Roman. And then not even 10 seconds later, solo pins Roman. I was like, wait, what? And so yeah, and then we got the Sammy stuff, and it'd be interesting to see what happens there because then he takes out Roman. But Fatu, anytime he's in there, I was glad because we originally thought he wasn't going to be in the match. We thought it was the Tongas and Fatu wasn't going to be in it. So having Fatu in the match was that was fun because anytime he's in the ring, like you can, I mean, he's like the Will. I'm not comparing him to Will Ospreay, but he's the WWE version of like Will Ospreay, where anytime he's on the screen, I want to watch. And,
I like that comparison.
Yeah, they're totally different, but like they're kind of must-see TV. Like
he's that guy for WWE.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. I mean,
I don't know if they're that far different. Fatu is super athletic. I know Ospreay's on another level, but
yeah, but they are very different people.
Yeah, yes, they are.
But like he's fun, and so yeah, like eventually we'll get him and Roman 1-on-1, and I'm all for it. I want to see him 1-on-1 against a bunch of people. Like we talked about last week, they teased him and Braun Breaker. Take my money on that, and yeah, anything he does. So I was glad he was in this match. That made it better. But yeah, once they moved it to the front, we knew we weren't getting no big overarching nothing. But they've got it because like Survivor Series War Games is coming up quick. So, but I heard they are moving it from 5-on-5 to 4-on-4. So they really don't have to do too much now because, I mean, Sammy's the fourth. If Sammy's the fourth, we got our match. Unless in these next couple weeks, the bloodline, the Timu bloodline takes out Sammy, and they got to replace him somehow. So, and then we could get some. But I think we got our 4-on-4 already set, and we'll see if that changes. But so yeah,
the Timu bloodline. I like that.
I mean, that's what we call it. Because like we really don't know what to call them. I mean, bootleg bloodline, whatever because we know the OTC bloodline, but
the match was. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, I think we may have expected a little too much out of it, but I think the main thing that came out of this was storyline. Like it wasn't so much about the match; it was everything surrounding the match, and even what they did in match. When Jay on Friday before said, we're not your yes men anymore. Like we're all equals. Well, then Roman and Jimmy came out together, but Jay had his own separate entrance. You could see the facial expressions of Roman. Like he was not happy that Jay was getting a bigger reaction than he got. That did not make Roman happy. And then middle of the match, Roman's ready to tag in. He does his, lays out his hand, and Jay like, no. Like you don't control, like you're not in control of this anymore. Is what Jay was telling to Roman during the match, and it cost him. I think them not working together cost him. And then the end of the match with Sammy coming out, you could see it coming from a mile away. Like they're setting up this story for War Games, but him coming out then, I thought what they did at the end was interesting, like a miscommunication between Sammy and Roman, who have had all this beef in the past. Like that is like the storytelling in this was, I think, the reason this match, the match itself was whatever. I don't like them pinning Roman either, but you need something to happen that Roman needs help. Like something has to happen where he looks in the mirror and like, okay, like I have to change. Something has to change. I think going forward, I don't know if anybody's watched Raw. I don't know if y'all watched Raw from Monday or not.
Not all of it, just some of it.
Okay. It's a taped show, so it's very missable, but there is a bloodline segment on there that is newsworthy. Sammy comes out and talks, but I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to get the wise man back. Paul Heyman's going to come back because there's only one person that can glue all these egos together and get them to working together, and that's Paul Heyman. So I think Heyman returns either Friday or next week for sure, and we start seeing this build towards War Games. I think, we got our teams set. Now it's just getting it to War Games and getting the storyline together towards it. But I love the storyline, just didn't care for the match.
So the other bloodlines, Wise Man, The Rock?
Could be. I don't know if they actually have a Wise Man, but it could be. Oh, Jacob Fatu is the Wise Man, just in the back.
I like in the middle of the match. Solo, I love you.
I love you.
He's like punching, like hitting Roman. Solo, I love you.
We all need someone to care about us as much as Jacob Fatu cares about Solo Sikoa. If we have one person in our lives, you need a Jacob Fatu in your life. That's what you need. You need a Jacob Fatu.
I could go anywhere and not have to worry about anybody from now on.
Go standing there behind you, just.
Hey, he could probably carry that equipment. He could throw the equipment up on his shoulder for me. Man,
he wouldn't have to climb the steps to the press box. He just jump up there.
Yeah,
just jump up there with it on his back.
Yeah,
he is a werewolf.
Yeah, I thought that Jay's pop was awesome, and he's still coming out from the crowd. I think that's cool. Some of the things that were notable moments in this match, you had Fatu's running hip strike in this match. Pretty nasty. I still like that Roman's so over the OTC. I think they got that right. That's clicked with the fans. So I wish this match was more. I do think the story was pretty good, but I was expecting like another. I'm a little disappointed it's going to be 4-on-4 just because we kind of know all these characters. I was hoping there would be a surprise to enter in this match.
There will be.
Okay.
It'll just happen at the match, not beforehand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. But anyway, next match, actually, maybe one of my favorite like matches. I wasn't expecting much out of this tag match for the women's, but it was actually very entertaining. I'm surprised at the way they went. Because looking at our picks here, I was looking at a second ago. We didn't do very good, guys.
What?
Did anybody have Bianca? And I think we all picked. Everybody, and
we all picked a different one.
Yeah. So we didn't do very good on this one. We saw a little bit. It was on Raw. I did see some of Raw. So we had the Battle Royal. I think I don't know that I did see it. They had a Battle Royal. And so that may be some of the tease with Bianca and Jade. They kind of, got in. They were both in this match. So I'm not going to spoil it for y'all, but there was a Battle Royal since now Liv has nobody to go after.
I've seen it. I've watched Raw.
Okay. I don't know if Brandon has or not, if you saw that.
I haven't turned it on yet. No.
Yeah. So, but I just don't. I thought this was a time they could take it off of them and not get them pinned. So maybe they do get pinned at some point, and that's what causes the friction. I don't know, but this match was good though. I like the pace of this match. It had some tag teams that had been against each other and some that hadn't. Chelsea Green's always entertaining. So her matches, she's not the greatest wrestler in the ring. She's good in the ring, but she's always entertaining. Her facial expressions and the ring attire, of course, it was different, a little bit different than the normal ring attire. But I like the way they coordinated the colors and the outfits for those. But I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was, we talked about, I think Kyle, this was going to be your bathroom break match. Did you end up watching this match, or did you take your bathroom break?
I watched the match. It was a good match. It was okay. It wasn't anything. I didn't expect much out of it.
I thought it was better than I expected it, though. I thought they had good pace. They kind of went in and out of the ring. It was a good tempo. Like I enjoyed it more than what I thought.
They didn't do much of it on the pay-per-view, but on Raw, they planted the seed. They started that seed of doubt between Jade and Bianca. So they've started that dissension already. But I didn't see a point in them winning either. But I mean, who else would you? Where does the story go? Like I've said, my point still remains. As decent as the match was, the tag titles are still pointless. Like they're still worthless. So I mean, I don't care about anything out of. I mean, yeah, it was a decent match, but I mean, it was that's all it was. It was just a decent match.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a decent match. What wasn't a great card, so it was one of the better ones on the card. But did y'all notice that on Chelsea they edited Samantha out of her music?
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Because it used to, the Samantha thing was in there at the front where it goes Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
But they still kind of have it, but it's not. You can tell it's edited. It's Samantha's edited out, and they kept that. They kept that for a couple weeks, but I don't know if y'all saw it. It started getting a little tense on social media between Samantha and WWE. Like they didn't like the way she handled some stuff, like just the way she's been kind of like she left on good terms it seemed, but then she's just kind of she talks a lot. So she said some things that I guess they haven't liked. So now they edited her out of the song. So
I have missed her, by the way. I've really
me too. Yeah, like I mean, Lillian was awesome, but just that was a long time ago. Like, well, so we'll have Lillian for a little bit, and then I guess eventually find somebody else. But
I think I want to go try out. How do they do this? I think I could do it. How do we get involved with this? Let me try out, and I'll call people to the ring. Let me do it.
Kyle, do you know Caleb that used to be at K-Terry?
Mm-hmm.
He does backstage. He hadn't got to the ring announcement, but he does backstage for Tomahawk Wrestling.
Yeah,
like
I see him post about it.
Brian Keith and them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That would be fun.
Yeah, the next match, man, I was really disappointed. I don't understand. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. You build. I know Kyle's gonna be disappointed in his Bronson Reed before Big Bronson Reed. He was all in on him, and they've put him back to regular Bronson Reed in this match. Like you had him destroying people, like jumping off onto cars, bouncing up from he got curb stomped on a car and was down for like 15 seconds and just pops up and just goes back after Seth Rollins. Then you bury him by letting Seth Rollins get the win here. And I don't understand. Like, this was stupid to me. Like, why are you going to build a guy up? And he had great momentum, and you let someone pin him that doesn't need to pin him. Like, Seth Rollins can take an L from Bronson Reed. He just gets the mess beat out of him and he loses. Like, Seth Rollins is still fine. I didn't like this at all. Like, let them brawl in the parking lot. I'd rather have seen a parking lot brawl, let them brawl all over the ring and kill each other, and then someone pins somebody else on top of a vehicle or on a table that's broken. This, I didn't like this. I just didn't.
Well, I wanted to agree with you, and probably when the match ended, I probably did agree with you, and then it only took about 5 seconds for me to say, okay, well, this makes a little sense because of how they did it. And this is why I'm okay with it, is so Bronson was about, he had the stairs and was about to hit Seth on the outside, and Seth chop blocks him, takes his legs out from him, and that's when the match kind of turned. And so by doing that, you kind of and they've kind of been hinting anyway, and now this maybe a Seth heel turn's coming soon, so you plant the seeds there. But he didn't just beat him straight up though. It took a stomp on the stairs and 2 or 3 more stomps. Like, he had to keep stomping him. And then after he beat him, so I was like, he won. I was like, oh, wait, I didn't think Seth was going to win. So it threw me off. But then they get outside, and then I saw it that night when I watched it live. But then I've seen it on social a lot. And, watching it, and it really stands out. Bronson's bloodied there, pops up and's like still kind of staring Seth down and looks like a badass. And even though he just lost, and Seth's eyes, and he says something like, "Ooh, who is this?" Like I'm messing with. So it keeps the story going a little bit because like if Bronson just beat Seth, it's over. Now you can build off it again, and it like also like Seth's like, I just beat this guy, but I mean he's bloodied. I did everything I could to beat him, and he's still standing up. And so I like that part of it. The one thing I didn't like right when the match started, okay, because this was billed as like a non-sanctioned match, right? Why is there a referee?
Because it wasn't. It was still sanctioned.
Well, they said it
I
wasn't.
don't know where
Yeah.
They never said it wasn't. I never heard them announce that anywhere.
I just
I
saw
know
it
what you
online.
read, right?
Yeah.
But I'm on TV. They never said
They didn't. Okay, I thought they had. Okay. I thought that was okay. Then that so I was like, another thing they did on this whole show, and one of the ones that stood out was before this match. Is did y'all notice they started like kind of like AEW used to do? They started throwing stats on when they were coming to the ring, and I thought one was interesting that Seth had been in 11 of 12 of the Saudi events, and like I didn't realize that, so I thought that was cool how they did more throughout the show, but they like did little stats and stuff, and I always liked when AEW used to do that. AEW used to incorporate the records and stuff, and now WWE, like AEW's kind of stopped doing that, and now WWE has they really did a lot during the show, during the entrances, giving you little stats and facts and little details they've done over the last couple of years that they've added has really amplified their viewing experience.
Yeah, I didn't like to see my big buddy Bronson Reed take an L at Crown Jewel, but I will say, you'll see this on Monday, Brandon, but it's not over between Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. Like there's more, there's going to be a rematch. And I think in the rematch, I think Bronson wins the rematch. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with him taking a loss. This time I'm with you, Bret. I think you built him up the way you built him up. You don't let him take an L. I don't care if it's, I heard my podcaster I listened to, he said, I don't care if it's a stomp from the Empire State Building. Like he doesn't lose that match. Like it doesn't matter what you do to him.
He's the monster of all monsters.
Well, now that's Braun Strowman's gimmick.
He already beat him. He got rid of him.
I understand, but we can't be taking gimmicks. This is big Bronson Reed now, okay?
He's the biggest monster of all.
He's the biggest, the strongest monster of them all. I mean, it was a decent match up till the way it ended. I mean, it was a fun match to watch, but yeah, the ending threw me off. I didn't like it. But I do see what you're saying too, Brandon. Like at the end of it, like Bronson still wasn't down. Like he got stomped off the top rope, and he was down for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then he was right back up, ready to keep going. And like I said, it gets continued. It's going to be continued. So I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. Hopefully Bronson wins the next one. But yeah, this was a disappointment for sure. And I think you could tell the crowd was kind of shocked too. They were kind of like, okay. I mean, yeah, sure.
Man, we just go from disappointment to disappointment. The Liv Morgan Nia Jax match. We call this the interference special. This, I mean, yeah, I ran Kyle off. I mean, this, like the only thing that could have saved this was a Tiffy cash in. Like if they had interfered and then she cashed in on somebody, then I might have been interested, but we had interference from the Judgment Day. Go figure, the Judgment Day interfered with something. I mean, spoiler alert, they do every single pay-per-view. And now you've even got Raquel Rodriguez in the mix here. I'm so tired. I'm like, Liv Morgan's great. Like, I really like her character, but her story is basically intertwined with Rhea. Like, got to give her another story. Nia Jax is just like watching paint dry. I just don't like her in the ring. I'm not a fan. I'm ready for her to move on to something else. Hopefully they'll do the cash in soon. I wasn't looking forward to this match. I was looking forward to possibly a Tiffy cash in or some kind of. They still are teasing everything. I wish they would just go ahead and do something. Now I will say it's not directly tied to the storyline, but we had a bunch of WWE cuts here over the last week, and you had you had Candice LeRae kind of coming in and helping Nia Jax. Of course, Indy Hartwell was helping as well, and then she gets her papers. It was funny because they had recorded SmackDown, so she actually had a match after she was let go from the company. That was what a like. I understand Tegan Knox was the other WWE Diva superstar that was cut, but I hadn't seen her on TV in I don't know how long. She's just had a lot of injuries. And then old bum Baron Corbin looks like he's leaving the company. But they just had it was weird because they had Indy Hartwell in a storyline, like a good storyline. I was enjoying it. It was like they were kind of weaseling their way in with Nia Jax, kind of creating some tension with Tiffy. I liked it. And she was the muscle there, and then they let go of her. So I hate that. But this match, I just another disappointment. I didn't have high standards at all for this match, and it still did not live up to it. It was worse than even the low expectations that I had for it. Just not a fan.
Yeah, on the releases thing, it was funny, because I knew she got released, but then you see, oh, she's on SmackDown. So, and then Corbin posted a statement about his being released, or Indy apparently she found out on Twitter/X, she saw it and she's like, is that because they said it the original statement was Indy Hartwell's leaving the company, and she's like, wait, what? She she didn't.
I think that was actually a joke.
You think so?
Yeah, because Fightful posted it. I listened to a lot of Sean Ross Sapp and stuff at Fightful, and he actually said they wouldn't have released that information without her knowing.
Okay, but it didn't seem that way. She seemed like she was like, wait.
Well, that's why they cleared that up, because that was they're real big on making sure they have their stories right and making sure that everybody knows before they will release something like that.
Yeah.
But by the reaction, yes, it made it look like that she didn't know.
I was like, that, but then you see her on Friday, and that taped Friday. But no, this match, like you said, Bret, wasn't great and whatever, but they did what they needed to do with Liv. You have her beaten out, and Liv looked great in this match. I mean, she did the way she, she had some help, but
5-on-1, yeah, she looked real great, Brandon.
But I mean, she did a sunset flip powerbomb.
If I had 5 people doing all my work, I could win every match.
But before anybody came out, she did a sunset flip powerbomb to Nia. I don't know. I like what they've done with Liv.
That's the sad part. I like her in the ring, but give her some cred. Let her win a match on her own.
Yeah,
you could have had.
But she also
had Tiffany come down
because Tiffy was coming after her, so it was 5-on-2.
Yeah, you could have, but you could have had Tiffy come down, and her music distracts Nia Jax, and Liv takes advantage of it and gets the win. I'd have rather seen that than all of the Judgment Day have to come down, and everybody's got to get involved. And you got, I'm just tired of that. I don't know if
it was interesting how they had Tiffy come out, and then Nia stopped her in her tracks, and then she goes back, and then she comes back again, and then the Judgment Day comes and stops her. But I thought Liv was the one who had to win, and so I was glad that they went that direction.
I like the winner. I did like the winner they picked this time, but I just did everything else was. Yeah.
Oh, and also real quick, just so quick. Because they did it a couple in the women's match earlier, and I think one other match before this. But then Liv did it too. Is everybody doing the code breaker now?
She's been doing that though, I think.
But she was.
I think Liv's been doing it.
Well, 2 people did it in the Fatal 4-Way women's tag match, and then is it maybe Seth or someone in the first tag match. One of the men did it too, but I know like multiple women did it in the match earlier. I know one of the Damage Control did it, and I think maybe Chelsea did it.
Well, aren't we all just branches of the learning tree? So aren't we all just learning from Chris Jericho?
I guess, but I was like, man, everybody does the code breaker now. Like,
oh man, you had to bring him up.
This was the bathroom break match.
Okay,
which one?
This match,
the one we just talked about. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were about to say the next one. I was like, wait, no.
Well, that wasn't even a match.
The next one that was supposed to be a match between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens never got started. I think my favorite part of this match was when Randy Orton RKO'd Adam Pearce. I thought that was hilarious. Like, it was smart. Hey, that's RKO, not my general manager, the other on the other show. So then, maybe he won't,
the Eddie Orango stunner from KO got a pop out of me. It was just so unexpected. Like, I just wasn't expecting KO to just stunner a ref. I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, I enjoyed this I guess fight. It wasn't really a match. I enjoyed this one actually. It was, even though it wasn't an official match, it was one of the more entertaining things on the show. They just let them go, let them brawl. It was kind of crazy and chaotic. Again, just continuing this feud. We'll see, what kind of match. Maybe we get a different type of match for the next pay-per-view. But I was fine with this. I thought it was entertaining. It was fun. It got rid of one of the matches. We thought there were going to be 7 on the card. That we talked about. That's a lot of matches for WWE now. Well, we know that they weren't planning on having this one, so they only had 6. So, but I was entertained by it. I love this feud, the way it's going. They're really juicing it up on social media, and Kevin Owens' character right now is it's on fire. I love what they're doing with this character, and having him and Randy in this is great. I do like the way they're intertwining Randy also with Cody Rhodes. Every time he's around him, he's always like eyeballing that championship, just looking at it, kind of teasing that. So it'll be interesting to see where they all go with this. But man, I'm in for a match whenever they decide to actually have a real match.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought this was really, really good. The way they told the story here. Some other interesting things here. Kevin wearing the Cowboy Bob shirt out. I think his vintage T-shirts are great anyway, but wearing the Cowboy Bob Orton. And then some more little factoids here was Kevin's. Well, if we want to call it a match, it was his 80th PLE match. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then it was the 8th Saudi match for Orton, and he's also the longest tenured male superstar, which I think we knew, but we didn't like. I don't think we ever talk about it or think about it. But and it was then also they talked about how he last beat Kevin in 2022. I like the little storytelling things that WWE is doing. But yeah, this he got him he was doing the pose, and Kevin got him, and then it was chaos from there. Like you said, the RKO and Pierce. Kevin punched Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble's still getting beat up in 2024, and then but what was crazy the way they're fighting, and then Orton goes to a table, and then all of a sudden it goes to a SummerSlam commercial. It was there was like no segue there. It was weird, but and then it was over. But yeah, that was that.
My complaint is I wish it would have been a match, and I wish it would have went longer. But if you would have had a match, who loses? Like, Randy's lost. I think I heard a stat the other day. Randy's lost every PLE he's been on this year. Like, he just has been a loser on PLEs. And then the same thing for KO. Like, he hasn't really been able to do anything recently either. So even if they did have a match, who would have lost? Like, who would have taken the loss? So I like how they did it without officially being a match, because nobody lost, nobody looked bad. They both looked good in that situation. But I was just, I get it. I get why it happened. But if you're gonna tell me there's a match on the pay-per-view, give me a match on the pay-per-view. Like, I was fine with the brawling and all that, but they could have done that. it didn't have to be advertised. KO could have came out there and called Randy to the ring. They could have brawled, and all that could have happened without them saying, "Hey, we're going to have a match." That's my only complaint. Don't advertise the match.
You got your hopes up there.
Yeah, for a match, but it was a brawl, which I'm not complaining. But that could have been spontaneous, and I think it would have been even better.
Yeah, maybe they should have just had a unsanctioned match or a Falls Count Anywhere match, or something. Just they should have known better than to have just a regular match with those two guys. I mean,
well, and that's why I'm saying I'm okay with them not having the match at all, because neither one of them need to take an L. So if you want to do this way of just brawling, that's fine, but don't come into it saying there's a match and do it this way.
Well, I think you could have a match, Kyle, that's like a street fight or some kind of like match like that, and then
somebody
just
still loses.
Well, but though, if they beat the living crap out of each other, then it doesn't.
It's still a loss, though.
It is, but I don't think it would do as much because if all the punishment they would take, you can still come out looking strong, by losing.
I'm okay with the way they did it with not having the match. Because again, I don't think either one of them need to take a loss. But my thing is don't advertise a match and then give me a brawl. Like, just have it spontaneous. Like, where after a match, have Kevin Owens just come out there, hey, cut that music, cut that, just.
Well, they had to get Randy the music so the whole crowd could sing it. I still think that's cool that that's never really been a thing for Orton his whole career, and just over the last little bit, like having his music sung is pretty cool.
France started it, right? Or one of those one of them in Europe, I think.
But it's stuck around. Every time he comes out, it's so loud.
Because I think France is the same place that the lights started for Uso with his stuff.
All right. Next match. We had the triple threat for the United States Championship where they buried Carmelo Hayes. I didn't like the pin decision here. I mean, I thought that I had Carmelo winning this match. I was just trying to be optimistic. I mean, I'm fine with LA not winning, but the final finishing move was cool, but I wish they'd have pinned Andrade. Like, I feel like that they're trying to push Hayes. He's a new superstar, trying to give him, and like, you could have had him not take the pin, and then that would give him a chance to maybe have LA Knight one-on-one. I'll be interested to see how long they keep LA Knight a face. He may just be one of those that's like a tweener, but he's got some heel tendencies going on. We talked about it a little bit last week, but they did give LA Knight the win. I didn't like who they pinned here. I mean, the match was okay. I thought it had some good spots in and out. I thought it was one of the better in the ring. It was really good as far as wrestling goes. It's like right there. It's one of those papers that you get to grade, and it's like, man, if you just the last closing remark would have been better, it could have been an A+, but you lost some points there. So I think it's like maybe an A- or a B+. I just wasn't a fan of the pin. I like Carmelo a lot in NXT. He was super hot, and he can go either way, heel or face, and he's got the character, and I think they can do a lot with him. They've kind of buried him with this back and forth Game 7 crap, and then now he takes the pin. So where does he go from here? I don't know. But yeah, everything else about this match, the ring wrestling was great. I mean, there was some great moves, great selling from all the guys. The crowd was into it. Just didn't like the finish.
Yeah, this was the best match to just straight up watch. But yeah, like, I'm fine with LA not winning. Eventually he won't, but I'm fine with it right now. I was with you, hoping Carmelo would win, but it just didn't happen. So, but yeah, just the match. It was a fun watch. Just a match. Hey, things are happening, and I thought all three performed well. But we got to figure out a story with this U.S. title, and do we turn LA Knight and probably let's get Andrade out of it, and let's go LA Knight, Carmelo, and see what we can do. But
yeah, but now you've pinned him, so now Andrade is going to is the one now that has. I didn't get pinned. That's why I thought they would go the other way.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go back to Melo now. Melo just took the pin. Like he's back of the line now. I mean,
He lost game 7, game 8, game 9. He's out.
I really like Melo, and I think we knew going into this, LA Knight wasn't going to lose the U.S. title, which I'm fine with. I don't think LA Knight needs to lose the title right now, but yeah, like Brandon was saying, you got to do something else with this U.S. title. Like you can't just add LA Knight into a feud that was going on and call it a championship. But this is what they do for Crown Jewel. Like Crown Jewel is one of their shows where they just throw stuff together because it's a once in a year pay-per-view that they're forced to do every year. They're contractually obligated to do. So
I don't know if y'all have ever heard this, and this just came to me. So I am a Fightful Select subscriber. I pay the Select deal when they have extra podcasts and stuff. I don't know if y'all ever heard any of theirs, but Alex Pulowski is one of the guys on there, and he is kind of like, he's one of those that he doesn't like the whole Saudi thing with the money and where it's coming from type people. So he refuses to watch those. And so they always have he used to call it the pay-per-view Sands of Time. And that was something that he called all their shows that. But now they've actually changed it now. So they'll have a podcast afterwards, and he calls it the Sands of Blind. And him and his co-host, the co-host will watch it, and she will tell a couple things that are true and something that's a lie, and he has to try to guess what actually happened versus, because he won't watch the show at all. It's one of the things, and it's just kind of a gimmick thing that stuck, and so it's just funny. Like he refuses to watch them, and he all, it's one of the things too. He's like they're always missable. Like it's not like you're gonna miss anything if you watch. I hate that they have a PLE that we have that's part of it that they're just going to book like crap. Like, I don't like it. I'd rather just not even have that. If I know they're collecting money, but why just go ahead and book it? Like, why can't you book it like a regular show? If that's going to be one of your PLEs for the year, give us a good card. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Because you could have a person that never watched before, like, oh, I want to check out WWE, and they come and they're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, and I just don't like it. I don't understand why. Like, I know they're collecting money. Doesn't mean they can't put on a card that's actually meaningful. Like, it's one of their PLEs. Like at first it was kind of like they just added it in, but now it is one of their PLEs that they have every year. And I mean, those wrestlers are getting paid. Like, can we not advance some storylines or have things make sense on this show for once? And I feel like I'm Professor not. Sorry, guys.
I feel like it did. I mean, I feel like it did its job of forwarding storylines. Like, I think it did that aspect of it but you have two made up matches where champion versus champion. So those are two of your matches that are.
They've got a diamond ring though now, Kyle.
Like MJF. But those are two matches that have absolutely zero storyline going into it. Like, there's no storyline for Cody and Gunther, which could be a really good story if you wanted to tell it. No storyline. Threw them out there, said have a good match. Nia and Liv, they tried to make a storyline out of it, but the storyline revolves around Tiffy. It has nothing to do with Nia and Liv. So those are two irrelevant matches. The Bloodline had a ton of story going into it and coming out of it. So they did story there. The women's tag match, irrelevant. Could have done without it, but they had to get all the women on the pay-per-view, just like they had to get all the women on the Raw roster in Saudi on Monday night because it was taped in Saudi. Then you got the Seth and Bronson. That's a storyline that's still continuing. So they built story on that one. Then you got the KO and Randy. They built story from there. Like, I think they did their job building. I don't think they just said this is a nothing pay-per-view, we're not going to do anything with it. I think they did further storyline.
The booking was awful though. That's what I didn't like.
Some of the decisions didn't make sense. No, I'll agree with that. But I do think that I think they tried more on this one for storyline and all that than they have in years past. Like, in years past, they just throw stuff at the wall, have a 40-man battle royal because we're in Saudi. It's going to be the biggest ever. Like, I think at least this year they had thought of, okay, look, this is a pay-per-view we have to put on. Let's at least put some story in here. but we'll have to do this other gimmick crap where they get a championship that stays in Saudi on display and they get to carry around a ring. I'm not, and by no means am I defending this pay-per-view. It was not one of their better efforts, but I do think it did further some storylines that needed furthering. I don't think it was just a completely missable pay-per-view. I think you could have, if you didn't watch it, you would have missed some of the storyline.
Yeah, I guess so.
I told you I was going to be positive tonight. It's going to be different. Usually I'm the negative Ned.
I know. Speaking of a match that didn't make sense, we had Gunther and Cody Rhodes in the main event here. Gunther, I thought, was a lock to win this. Like, he needed this. Like, they're trying to build Gunther as this unbeatable guy, and then what do? They give it to Cody Rhodes. So they can take some pictures with him, and he's the face of the company. But it made no sense. I mean, then you had Gunther shaking his hand afterwards. He's this big heel, mean heel, and now all of a sudden he's going to respect Cody. Are they going to turn Gunther a face here? I mean, I don't know. The match was good. It was hard hitting. It was a good match. It was solid, but I just didn't like the ending again. I don't understand. Like, you're trying to put this guy over as the next guy up, and you bury him with Cody Rhodes, which, I mean, Cody Rhodes could have taken the L to Gunther and still been fine. Like, I think Gunther is still okay, but you take some of the prestige off of when someone else beats him. Well, Cody Rhodes has already beaten him now. So I just don't like this. I mean, Gunther's chops still are just the nastiest chops ever. I mean, he had Cody Rhodes like bleeding on his chest. Kind of grossed my son out a little bit as I was trying to show him. He's like, oh. But I hated that they did that. It's another just a booking thing I didn't like. This match was fine. I liked it. They tried to build up some story in this one. I know there wasn't much there, but they tried to. But then they just buried Gunther, and I didn't like it.
Well, it's kind of like we talked coming in is this whole thing like we like our champions got to get pinned unless like if we like I thought we maybe could get it where it wouldn't clean, but like Gunther's not feuding with anybody right now. Like, he has no challenger, and Cody is feuding with someone. So we thought, oh, maybe we get, but the way they did the Kevin Randy stuff, I still thought we might get, since it didn't not be a match. I thought, oh, we may get Kevin here, and we just didn't. And then it was but I guess the only thing about the way Gunther loses is at least it wasn't like a crossroads and a dominant finish. It was like a sneaky roll up. So I guess that's how they're gonna pass it off. But it like caught me off guard because I didn't think Cody would win, or at least
Cody wins on a roll up. Like, he gets put in a sleeper and then he like pins.
Which I guess that's the way to not make Gunther look weak at it. Like, it's not like
Gunther look like an idiot. It's what it did. I mean, how many times has he put that sleeper on and he never gets pinned like that? It made him look like a complete imbecile. Oh, let Cody just outsmart me. I'm a dumb Gunther. I don't know.
Yeah. But it wasn't like Solo dominating Roman.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think this was the way they were going. So I'm with you. I wasn't a fan of it either, but I was waiting for Kevin to come out, and it just didn't happen. So
that's where I was going to go. Like, what shocked me was that it was clean. Like, if Cody was going to win, I thought there was going to be some type of interference, whether Ludwig Kaiser comes down, KO, or Randy comes out, like some type of distraction that would make Cody lose or help Cody win. One of the two. The one thing I will say, trying to be positive here, the one thing, because I don't like it either. I thought Gunther was going to win, and I think Gunther should have won. But what I will say, there's only been 4 people that have pinned Gunther in his time in WWE. Only 4 people. Ilya Dragunov, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, and now Cody Rhodes. So it's not like this is you said knocked off his prestige. I just saw a stat. He spent 80% of his time in WWE as a champion. Like, I think he's one of those untouchable. You're not like Gunther could lose the next 10 matches he's in, and I'll expect him to win that 11th one because it's Gunther. Like, I don't think he loses anything from this, but I do think it cements Cody. Cody just finished his story. Cody is the world champion. Like, all this hype, he is the face of the company. Gunther is not the face of the company. So you're in Saudi. It's champion versus champion. You give Cody the win over Gunther. It gives Cody that little bump of now he's added Gunther to his notch that he's beat. And one of only 4 people to do it. It just enhances the Cody story, while at the same time, the way they did it, they tried to protect Gunther by a roll-up. It wasn't like he knocked him out and pinned him. Like it was some fluky roll-up. Like they tried to do their best to protect it while still elevating Cody and promoting their biggest star, their John Cena. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's one of those things that what happens in Saudi stays in Saudi. Like I don't think it's a major issue coming back stateside. And again, on Monday Night Raw, Gunther was featured on Monday Night Raw, showing more respect towards Cody Rhodes. Does that mean it's a face turn? No, I don't think. But again, it's elevating Cody by Gunther, this big bad dude who doesn't think anybody's worthy to be in the ring with him, saying, you know what, Cody is worthy. He pinned me. He pinned me.
Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns, who hadn't been pinned in like 3 years, wasn't enough to make Cody. They'd have to have him beat Gunther too. I think that makes Cody whenever he beat Roman with that long reign. I don't know that they needed that.
It does, but I'm with you, but what I'm saying is if you are the face of the company, then at your biggest global event in Saudi in front of all these people, wouldn't you want him winning? Why would you pin your biggest champion in your biggest stage globally? You know what I mean? Like,
I just thought they would be trying to elevate Gunther to that. I don't think Cody Rhodes needed to be elevated. I think he was already there. This would have elevated.
I think they're
Gunther
both already there. I think that
yeah.
I don't think a win over Cody Rhodes elevates Gunther to a higher status than he is now. And I'm not saying necessarily that it elevates Cody at all. But if you're looking at it from WWE's eyes, and you're not going to pin the face of your company, that's like throwing the face of your company, your boss, your CEO under the bus publicly. Like you're just not going to do it. And so in that situation, you shouldn't have booked the match. If you don't want a champion losing at all, you shouldn't have booked the match. So that's the same thing. I get what you're saying. I picked Gunther to win. I wanted Gunther to win, but I can see why they chose Cody to win, and I don't think it hurts Gunther at all.
Okay. But I think we kind of all agree this wasn't one of our favorite PLEs. It's just kind of, I think I agree with Kyle a little bit. There were some things that were worth watching for, but I could have used a fast forward button in this one. I could have, fast forwarded to those things that I wanted to see. And then, there was a lot of part that I could have skipped through and not even needed to watch. Next pay-per-view for us, guys, is AEW Full Gear in a few weeks. I'm expecting we got I know already it's going to be Darby and John Moxley, I believe. There's maybe a couple
Orange and John Moxley.
It's Orange, right? Okay, yeah, because Darby's too injured now. He's too injured to be in them. He probably jumped off too many top ropes.
Well, did y'all watch AEW last week?
I did watch last week. I think we're gonna get
we got Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, we did get Lashley, and I think we're gonna get Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay soon.
90 seconds.
Oh yeah, of course.
90 seconds. Did y'all hear the time cues being called out AEW last week towards the end of it? When Bobby got in the ring, you hear somebody go, 90 seconds, 90 seconds.
I didn't hear that.
And then they're talking, and then later on, you hear somebody go, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Like,
Kyle, is that your job, Kyle? Do you do that stuff still? calling out?
Not
time?
anymore. Not anymore.
Okay.
Listen, I am a sports journalist now.
Okay,
I'm not a production member.
You have moved past all that.
That's right. I still got the production stink on me though. I can still operate production stuff, but
hey, I'm a
journalist.
I'm gonna be relying on some of that production this weekend, Kyle.
Oh, I got you. Hey,
get to put the headset back on and do some hoops with me. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You'll be there too Saturday, Kyle?
Yes, sir. Me and Pops. Pops is running the camera.
I got the Owens. I got the Owens duo and me here. So we're gonna
I'll be there.
Man, Brandon, you gonna be sitting down there? You throw the headset on. We'll put the headset on you.
Yeah, let's see. I'll be there for about 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, we're coming for that. We're coming for that nightcap. The Brook Hill Lady God.
It probably
is that the final game of the night?
Yeah, 7:30.
Well,
that's
probably
the final game of the night.
7:30 though. Yeah,
well, that's what time it's scheduled for. At least I don't know.
Yeah, there's like 7 games that day. So.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know when I'll end up getting there. Get there, make sure I get my spot set up. But yeah, man, it's going to be a busy next few days. I got a game tomorrow, game Friday, game Saturday. Then we got a doubleheader next
Eagles
Tuesday.
Cowboys Sunday.
Oh,
let's go Birds!
I don't want to watch that. I'm sorry.
Go Birds!
I was wondering why you're excited about it. And I was like, oh wait, he's an Eagles fan. No wonder.
Cooper Rush starting, I guess. Man,
that's actually good for the Cowboys.
We may be better off though.
I'm calling it now. I've said it to anybody that'll listen to me, and I'm saying it now, so it's on video. Nick Sirianni will cost us this game on Sunday. Nick Sirianni will make some bonehead decision, like he left 9 points on the field.
Hey, we went for it on 4th down like 4 or 5 times last week. So
y'all must have had Sirianni blood running through y'all's veins. I can't. You know, we're 6-2, and I am more aggravated.
But the real Pennsylvania team is also 6-2.
The real. Well, I forget that y'all. Man, we need a KO versus BO show. We need y'all go at it. Y'all can talk noise. You got the different media outlets. You got the different teams. We could do Astros Rays. Y'all could go at it.
Oh no, I'm not a Rays fan anymore. I've debunked I'm sick of them. I'm done with them.
You're done with them. You were just on the Rays bandwagon. You jumped off?
I've been on the Rays bandwagon since like 2006.
Okay.
So,
well, then who are you on now?
I'm a free agent. I'm a free agent.
Okay.
I'll announce my decision come baseball season.
Are you gonna do like Jereme did for football teams?
Yeah,
I might. That's not a bad idea.
Hey, you could do a show and you could come on every week and we could talk about reasons why you need to drop.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a free agent for baseball this year because I'm sick of the Rays. Every time I start liking them, they get rid of all my favorite players. I'm just sick of it. And we got people now like Wander Franco that are out there. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. But
you can really do a show on there. You got enough material there, Kyle. You might have enough for a whole show.
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. So my baseball fandom is up for grabs. I will take any suggestions. I know it'd be easy choice for you. Well, yeah, that, and I know easy choice be either Rangers or Astros, but I don't want to stay in state. I want to be different.
Oh, hey, now don't be hating over there, Brandon. Who's won the last championship? We got that.
Yeah, you'd be super bandwagon. Well, you're not the last one because that's the Dodgers, but
you can't
be one of those because they won the last two.
The last one of the state, Brandon.
Oh,
but who's won more? So okay.
Yeah, because some of those y'all had some cheating going on. Some of those should be a little question.
Well, that's fine. The Rangers cheated for years and didn't win. So
y'all, you can go. Hey, I got a good football team for you.
I'd rather cheat and win than cheat and lose.
You can go down and coach for somebody in football, Brandon. It's okay. They like that.
I'd rather cheat and win than cheat and lose.
Oh man, it's man. We could almost have another whole topic show, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on here over the next few days. It's going to be busy times.
We got a big NXT show tonight too.
From the 2300 in Philly. Let's go, Philly.
Yeah,
right. They're going head to head. That's right. So try to.
We know who's going to win in the ratings. Let's not even. We might have had more people watching this show than AEW had in attendance tonight.
And the excuse I hate seeing about when NXT wins the ratings is, they're on network TV. Way more people get TBS than CW.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
It's not like it's Fox or ABC or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's gonna be busy. I'm excited. So it'll basically be, I had a game Saturday, then I had a game Monday, then I got a game Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then two on Tuesday. Then we got playoffs coming up for football. Maybe you can join us for a me and Kyle have ran everybody else off on the Beast from the East.
It has been the me and Bret show. It's not even Beast from the East. It's the KO and Bret show.
Sundays aren't good for me.
Yeah.
For the past 4 or 5 weeks, it's been just me and Bret.
Hey, you know what though? I've had lots of good comments. Our views have doubled from last year, Kyle. Just so you know. So maybe we got rid of the weak links of the show, and no, I'm just playing. We enjoy having other guys on it, but it has been the audience has grown. I've got lots of good comments. I enjoy it, so it's good stuff. But yeah, we'll be on. We'll take a week off and come back in I guess in a couple weeks and talk about AEW Full Gear. It'll be interesting to see where I'm excited to see where they go with the Moxley stuff. You've got MJF and Adam Cole kind of going back and forth. There's lots of good stories right now in AEW, so I'm excited about what they've got possibility of Full Gear. So I know they've kind of had some slow times, but it seems like right now there's a lot of cool stories and some good possible matches. They might even have a learning tree match just for KO down there.
Yes.
I don't know. I know y'all don't watch Collision, but they did the women's championship match on Saturday. And Tony Storm, Mariah May beat Anna Jay. So
I think I actually turned that on for a minute. I was like, I saw it was on. I turned it on, but I don't normally watch it. You're right. But
it's that they've been adding stuff to it. Moxley even spoke on there. They did some stuff with that. Like Collision's getting, it's telling a lot of this. Like they're throwing a lot of story on Collision, so it's worth watching. And they've been giving Leo Rush a lot of matches, but they've been telling a lot of story that's creeped over to Collision. So I watch it, throw it on Monday mornings. But
okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. But final thoughts on the show. I mean, it was just kind of, we weren't too impressed. I think overall Kyle had the most positive outlook of it. I think he had the positive spin tonight,
which is rare.
Yeah, and he gave a double thumbs down.
I can only imagine how much Diggs would have tore into this one. If I was tearing into it,
he probably hadn't even seen it yet.
He might not have. Maybe once football over,
he probably didn't waste his time.
Maybe once the football's over, we can get some of these other guys back on here. I still want to see another fire table match between Hubbard and Diggs. I think I want to see that again. Let them go at it. I'll just sit here and watch.
The feud is cooled off now. We got to get it rekindled.
I know we got to get it. He was coming after you for a minute there, though. He was coming.
I know.
It's like
I used discretion as the better part of valor in that one. I just let that one go. I don't want no smoke. I'm not the street prophets.
You don't want all the smoke. Nah. All right, well, that's going to do it for tonight's episode of Off the Ropes. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. We'll be back in a few weeks to talk AEW Full Gear, and we've got one more episode of the Mr. McMahon series to talk about as well. For Dirt Sheet Brandon, Big Goose, Kyle Owens, I'm Mr. Nedison, Bret Swinney, signing off. Catch you next time right here on Off the Ropes. Good night, everybody.